Welcome to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, with your host, Zaki Baruti. And like always, I want to give a shout out to my biological family. What's happening? To the Universal African Peoples Organization family, what's going on? And to New Life Evangelists in the family headed by Reverend Rice. Keep up the great work, and a shout out to our amazing cameraman. On that note, we'll have a great show, which really going to be in a two-part series, because I have with me a young man who is an author and a person who conducts tours in the great country of Ghana. And I'm speaking none other than Brother Kwesi Essel-Blankson. Welcome to Conversation with Zaki Baruti.
Thank you very much, brother.
Okay. Also, I did not also make mention that as an author, you're an author of a book entitled Our Story, Cape Coast Castles and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. You know, again, I'm just honored for you to be here, and I'm honored too because most recently I was in the great country of Ghana back in September of this year.
Ooh.
Had a great experience.
Nice.
But beyond that, whenever I do my shows, I always like the audience to know a little bit of the background of the person I'm interviewing. Mm-hmm. So if you will, share your background. And your background, I know, is Ghana. Wherever you want people to know of you, please share that.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure being on your show. And shout out to all the great people of St. Louis, particularly, and all the Black American community, African American community in the United States of America. Shout out to the State Department. I'm from a great country called Ghana. We take our name from the Great Ghana Empire. Yes, and like the Great Ghana Empire, we were identified with gold. And so we are very rich people. Yes, our land is identified as gold. And currently, we are having a political, we are having an elections. And I appeal to all the great people of Ghana to go about the elections peacefully and elect a great leader. I believe all the leaders that have come up together to stand for the elections be fit to lead the country. And so any of them that wins the elections, we move forward with it. Yes. I live in Cape Coast. I've worked in the Cape Coast Castle for about 24 years now. And I started as a school service officer, particularly conducting tours for people around the Cape Coast Castle. And I developed over the years to become the head of the institute, particularly the Cape Coast Castle as the director. And I was later transferred to head office as the director of education. Yes, and then when the institution wanted to open a new office in the Western region, I was asked to do that. So I'm now currently heading the Western region of the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, which manages all the forts and castles in Ghana about the forts and castles about the transatlantic slave trade. So I've had the opportunity to meet and travel through all the forts and castles, or most of them.
How many castles?
Currently, there are about 28 listed on the World Heritage list.
Wow.
Yes, but there are about 32 of them.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And these were slave castles.
These were all slave castles.
Right,
yes.
right. I wasn't aware that there were so many in Ghana of those slave castles. Also, I've been blessed to go to Senegal, and I knew of one, which was Gorée Island.
Yeah.
But let me ask this question of you, several questions out of what you have described as your experiences. First of all, Ghana used to be called the Gold Coast, and I know you speak of the goldness of the people.
Yes.
But why was it called the Gold Coast?
Good. It was known as the Gold Coast because the Europeans named the products they got from each area after that area.
So much of the gold that you see across the globe in the building of institutions, including the Roman Empire, I'm thinking in terms of the Vatican and all of the places that have a lot of gold. Where did it basically come from?
I believe that about 100% of the gold in the British Empire now comes from Ghana.
Comes from Ghana.
Yes.
And did they pay for that gold?
Pay for it? That's something I have to find out, but I don't think they did.
You don't think they did?
No, I don't think they did.
So it was actually just let's just call it a spade.
Yes, they colonized it and pilfered it and took it out from there. Yes.
So with that, when was the name Gold Coast went from Gold Coast to Ghana?
It went on the 6th of March, 1957.
1957.
Yes, when Ghana gained her independence from the British.
Okay, so for our audience in Ghana, like here in this country, the United States, quote unquote, became independent in 1776. 1776.
Yes.
But Ghana did not get independent, and independent from folks like the British until 1957. Okay.
Yes.
And in 1957, there was a historic leader that was elected president of Ghana at that time, and who was that?
Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Now, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah served approximately how many years?
Approximately 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
And so, was he popular, or was he like a dictator, or what? I mean, from your perspective.
From my perspective, Nkrumah was the greatest leader Africa ever had.
He was the greatest
he
leader.
was ahead of his time. He was ahead of some of the things that he thought of and even tried to implement are what we are currently struggling to work on.
And they have a museum that's dedicated to his work,
memories and his works and activities.
Which I was blessed to
visit.
visit.
And that is exactly where he's currently resting.
Right.
Yes.
So within that context, I'm gonna have to hold for a break. I got another question for you on the other side of the break, okay?
Sure.
Do you have any idea how many people are having to sleep outside? Yes, viewers of the Zaki Baruti Show, you are being called into action at this time. Your help is urgently needed here at the New Life Evangelistic Center. Our teams are going out every day, and we need your prayers. We need your gifts here because we receive no city, state, or federal dollars. How many times I have to personally run to the store in order to just buy meat and bread? People could be making sandwiches and bringing them to the doors here at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. They could be buying cases of water and bringing them here so we can get these out to the homeless people. 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. They could write out those checks and send them in because we have to buy this. They're depending upon us. And not only that, they get bus tickets, hundreds and even thousands of bus tickets distributed to so many people who need transportation assistance. We can't do it without each and every one of you. It's New Life Evangelistic Center. P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org. Your prayers are urgently needed at this time. Come on, you watch the Zaki Baruti Show, you hear about the various issues. Now it's important that we respond to those issues by helping so many people that have fallen through the safety nets, in spite of the promises of the politicians. So many people are hurting right now. They're out there. They don't know where to go. What are they doing? I don't see hardly anything in St. Louis County, Jefferson County, St. Francis County. I can mention county after county, Madison County, St. Clair County. They want to ship them to St. Louis. St. Louis can't take care of all the problems. But we got to get all these other counties involved. In the meantime, we got to get your church involved. We need you. I've got a book I've written that if you'd like a copy of that, it's The Case for Compassion. We'll be happy to share that with you if you request it. When you send in your gift to New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org. It's called The Case for Compassion, citing over 2,000 Bible verses that are used throughout the Scriptures, and yet we don't hear about this. I preach like we should. You can get a copy for your minister. But let's get our churches involved. Let's reach out. Let's help those that Jesus referred to. The least of these, after you've done to them, you've done it unto him. Let's help them right now. Please get involved. Call us at 314-421-3020 or share that much-needed gift at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. You can give online at nlecstl.org.
When you partner with New Life Evangelistic Center, you impact so many people. The economy in this country is really hurting so many all over. And we're seeing the number of people who are experiencing homelessness rise. You can make a difference today by giving your gift online at newlifeevangelisticcenter.org. newlifeevangelisticcenter.org. Make a real big change in the lives of so many.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is a strong young brother all the way from Ghana, Brother Kwesi Essel-Blankson, who's also the author of our story, Cape Coast Castle and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. And we don't get to the book, but this is going to be a two-part series because I would like to use this opportunity to make sure people know a little bit about the history and the struggle of Africa and also the great potential of Africa, okay?
Sure.
So with that said, in terms of the great work of Nkrumah, President Nkrumah, who's the first black elected president of Ghana, right?
Yes.
What happened? Did he get voted out or what happened?
No, he was overthrown.
He was overthrown.
He was overthrown.
Wow. Overthrown by whom?
He was overthrown in a coup d'etat organized by various factors, various people, groups of people not interested in particularly the unity of Africa.
Okay.
Currently, it is
And what factor was that led the overthrow? I mean, what groups were it? Was it just purely domestic, or was it foreign?
I think it was purely international.
International. Some
Yes.
people didn't like what he was doing.
Yes.
Some countries, including what countries?
Including the United States.
In the United States.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it was at a time when the Cold War was going on, and Nkrumah decided to play the two of them together. So he asked for aid from the United States of Britain, and they refused to give to him. He goes to the Russians.
And the United States and Britain get mad at him for going to Russia after he had asked
yes.
for aid?
He goes to the Soviet Union.
Uh-huh.
And then he said, okay, now I'm not going to go to Soviet Union, I'm not going to go to the West, we're going to go non-aligned. So he formed a non-aligned movement in the world, pulling all those smaller countries together to form another bloc, which was not in the interests of the West. They wanted to control everything.
Wow.
Yes.
So the dominance of the Western powers,
Yes.
which would include the United States government, England,
Yes,
France,
yes.
etc. Okay.
Yes.
So after he was before he was overthrown, what were some of the projects that his vision and that he tried to implement? And we have to understand that at the time, just before independence, the standard of living in Ghana, because I guess historical oppression that kept people poor, I guess he inherited kind of like a poor situation, right?
Yes, I wasn't alive that time, but history teaches that, yes, that there were a lot of issues, particularly with the standard of living of the people.
Right.
And when he became the president as well, because of his ambition to unite Africa, he invested more in African unity to the neglect of his own country. And so people within the country itself were also not too much happy with him. But to be united collectively as a people would have given us more. It was like an investment to the world. Ghana investing in Africa to reap the benefits for all Africans.
Right.
That was the thought. But some of the programs that he implemented was the Akosombo Dam, which has provided Ghana with electricity for all the number of years.
Aswan Dam.
Aswan Dam. That's the first.
Yes.
That's the first and only man-made lake in the whole world.
Okay.
You understand? And he also trying to come up with the African unity. Let us African unite together. And of course, he tried to put up at headquarters. He tried to pull all Africans.
Wait a minute, let me go back. When he tried to work to unite Africa, he was one of the leading proponents of the Organization for Black Unity,
yes.
which eventually evolved into the African
Unity.
Okay,
Yes.
then. Which is kind of like a collection of African states similar to
The
a
United
collection of the European Union.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
And they're doing this as well as the Warsaw Pact
Yes.
in terms of folks, different countries coming together for their best interest.
Yes.
Okay, then. So he was overthrown, and then you had what we call here in the United States a bootlicking.
Yes, a bootlicker, a coup d'etat, head of the Redemption Council came to power.
Who was not working for the best interests of the Canadians.
They were installed by different people. They have their own interests, and so there were a lot of disturbances, a lot of instability in the country following his overthrow for about 30 years. Ghana went through, even after 2 years after he was overthrown, there was an election. The government didn't last less than 2 years. He was overthrown, a coup d'etat. There had about 7 coup d'etats until the PNDC took over, and also another coup d'etat, and stabilized the country from 1992 to now.
Now you said
PNDC, People's National Defense Council.
Okay.
It was a revolutionary group.
Okay, because just for clarity's sake for the audience, we're speaking of Ghanaian political
Politics,
parties,
yes.
similar to what you have the Democrats,
And the
Democratic Party and the Republican Party. And what are the major political parties right now in Ghana?
currently, you have the National Democratic Congress,
Okay,
and then we have the New Patriotic Party.
New Patriotic
Yes.
Party.
The
okay.
New Patriotic Party is in power now.
Okay.
The biggest opposition is the National Democratic Congress. We also have the CPP, which was the outlay of Nkrumah's party, which is now one of the smallest of them all.
Okay.
We also have GCPP. We have a new presidential candidate coming up, Chida. We also have a lot of them. The rest of them
Right.
peel off.
So similar to in the United States, you got the major political parties.
Yes.
And you have minor political parties. Like
parties.
here in the United States, we have the Green Party, Libertarian Party,
And,
Constitutional
yes.
Party. Okay, then, so that's a multi-party system
Yes,
that you have,
yes.
and you have elections.
Yes.
Jerry Rollins
Yes.
came into power. I
Jerry-
was at Osu Castle.
Yes.
And it was just sharing the office of Jerry Rollins,
yes.
which I have a lot of respect for him. Do you have respect for Jerry
Great
Rollins?
respect. Great respect.
Who was how long was he president?
He was president for about 23 years.
23 years. And just another personal experience again, because I was in Ghana in September. I got an opportunity to sit at the desk of the former president, Jerry Rollins, and played like I was making a
phone call.
international phone call.
Yes,
So that was a great experience. I had to put in there. So the next question will be on the other side of the break.
Behind me is the New Life Evangelistic Center administrative offices in Overland, Missouri. And this is where we shoot our shows for our worship shows and the Here's Help Network. And it's also where Zaki Baruti and Bernie Hayes shoot their shows. You can find all of these shows at the New Life Evangelistic Center app, the NLEC TV app. You can also access them on your tablet or on your computer. And this is how you can stay up to date with all the things that New Life Evangelistic Center is doing. There are so many different programs that we've got going on, and God is doing many exciting things through partners like you. So if you want to support the work that New Life is doing, then please access and give through the app. You can go online at nlecstl.org or give us a call at 314-421-3020. Again, 314-421-3020. But this is the best way to get plugged into the amazing work that New Life is doing through people like you. And so there is something for you to get involved in today. And we are so thankful for our partners. Only through the grace of God and your gift are we able to bless others today.
Have you discovered the benefits of giving? If you've received God's gift of eternal life through the giving of His Son, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, as John 3:16 says, that whoever believeth in Him shall not perish but everlasting life, you will then discover the joy from giving to others. Freely we have received the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ. Once we've experienced Him and His reality as a part of our life, we're going to want to freely give to others that are in need. That's why Jesus said in Matthew 25, when I was hungry, did you feed me? Naked, did you clothe me? Sick or in prison, you visit me? A stranger, did you welcome me? He said, as often you've done to the least of these, even so, you've done it to me. So first, receive God's free gift of eternal life. It's a free gift, for by grace are you saved, that not of yourself, it's a gift of God. And then freely give, for it's truly more blessed to give than to receive, and He gives us so many opportunities to help on a daily basis. Let's let our light shine, and let's freely give as God has given unto us.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is a brother that is author and world traveler, and he's the author of Our Story, Cape Coast Castle, and the Transatlantic Slave Trade. And I'm speaking none other than Kwesi Essel-Blankson. And we have not even got opportunity to get into the book. So we're going to do a part 2 now, as I made mention earlier. But I just wanted to get some of the dynamics of the politics that's taking place there. Now, you're here in the United States. Again, I thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule because you've been traveling extensively in the United States for several years. You also made mention in the opening statement, State Department.
Yes.
What was your role with the State Department?
In fact, the State Department invited
United States State Department.
United States State Department through the embassy, the U.S. Embassy in Accra, Ghana, opened a program, designed a program for museum professionals to interact with museum professionals in the United States. Okay. And so I came here together with 10 other colleagues who have since returned last week. But I decided to continue visiting other places to interact with other people.
So that's a collaboration of museum
professionals between
okay, all
the
across
United States and
United
Ghana.
States and
Ghana.
Ghana. Oh,
Yes,
okay then.
yes.
So you're here part of that tour.
Yes.
Okay. What places have you visited?
Yeah, we visited D.C., we visited museums in D.C., we visited museums in Charleston.
Wait a minute, go back to D.C. Did you get a chance, I'm just putting out a plug, to go to the most recently built African-American?
Yes, African-American Museum, yes.
Everybody, black, white, everybody,
Yeah.
when you're in Washington, D.C., you must go.
You must go to that place.
Yes. Okay, so other museums that you've been to?
In Charleston? Yes, there's a museum that struck me very hard, from slavery to incarceration. That's a big issue that has come up.
In Charleston, North Carolina or South Carolina?
South Carolina.
Okay.
South Carolina.
Okay. You also, did you
went
go to Alabama?
We also went to Alabama.
To the museum there? What museum was that?
This was a museum for Freedom Center.
Oh, yes. Freedom Center,
yes,
okay.
And there's several slavery museums out there.
Oh, okay then. So approximately how many museums did you get? I know we can't name them all.
Yes, about 15.
About 15?
Yes, about 15.
And again, I encourage the audience, at least, my major is history. I love museums. You got to go to museums. Take your children to museums. Why is it important to go to museums?
Because when you go to museums, you learn the character of the place.
Learn the character
of the place. You learn the character, the history of the people. And also the character of the place, because a lot of things through social media and current outputs, you see different facade. Mm-hmm. But when you go to the museum, you see the actual people.
Oh, okay then. Now, turning back to Ghana, where you're currently living, back in the day, as we were growing up, Africa was just projected on TV, villages with folks being, just kind of like almost close to primitive through movies like Tarzan and what have you. Is Africa still, how would you describe Africa of today?
Africa is a very vibrant, growing, big continent. Did you know Africa is bigger than the United States? Combined with Europe, combined with a lot of Asia?
Yeah, landmass, absolutely.
Yeah, landmass is bigger than almost all of them put together.
Right.
If you put United States in America, it will take about 1/3 of Africa.
Right.
You understand?
So, within Africa, because, I stayed in Accra, but visited Cape Coast, it reminded me of New York City for whatever reason.
Yeah, sure.
It was bustling. A lot of...
and it is fused with the African character as well. You see the open air market, you see people selling on the streets, you see people crossing the streets, you see people, it's a lively place. It's not like half modern city and half old city. It's a mixture of all of it. So you can see a modern city, a modern building standing by an old dilapidated building.
Right.
These are all part of the dynamics of Africa and Ghana.
Which is dynamic similar to right here in the United States. You got a lot of opulence, but under the shadows of opulence, you got a lot of poor areas, So, again, would you encourage people to go to Ghana?
Yes, yes, of course.
Okay, I got to hold you. We got to stop for another break on the other side of the break.
Since 1972, New Life Evangelistic Center has been on the front lines, reaching out, helping the hurting, the homeless, the fatherless, the widowed throughout mid-America. Yes, although it's had its roots in St. Louis, it now has expanded throughout mid-America into India, Africa, Haiti, and other places around the world. Oh, what a history New Life Evangelistic Center has. And we have many of these history books available to you, and they're right there on Amazon. And if we can help you get one of those, you contact us at 314-421-3020. But in addition to all that, we want to share a lot of that history with you right here as we take a look at how the work began and how the Lord has taken us throughout the years and the miracles that we have seen, all because of caring people like you. You're part of the history of the New Life Evangelistic Center. And we're believing that 2025 is the year that the center is going to become alive and seeing the Lord do exceedingly beyond we can even ask or think. We're on the verge of miracles. Yes, New Life Evangelistic Center has a rich history, but there's much more yet to come. And that's why I'm inviting you to familiarize yourself with the history of the past and be a part of the miracles of the present. Yes, let the Lord God Almighty work in you and through you. Let Him do exceedingly beyond what you can ask or think. He's got a purpose for you. And we want you to be able to live out that purpose as you get directly involved in the history of New Life Evangelistic Center and what the Lord is doing now.
2 Timothy 1, verse 10.
But it has now been revealed through the appearing of our Savior, Jesus Christ, who has destroyed death and has brought life and immortality to light through the gospel.
Welcome back to Conversation with Brother Kwesi Essel-Blankson. And we only got a couple more minutes, So real quick, and we're going to be doing part 2. What motivated you, we only got a couple minutes, to write your book, Our Story, Cape Coast Castle, and the Transatlantic Slave Trade? And we'll do that, go into that extensively in part 2.
Good. When I was employed by the Ghana Museums and Monuments, but as a school service officer in 2000, there was no book to rely on. There were several books one has to read. Most of them were skewed. So I realized that telling our story needed a proper interpretation, a proper research to come up with the actual story. Because I can't just sit down to believe that strange people came to our land, and some people tell me to go and bring my father and my mother and my uncles from home, and I come and sell it to them. There was something that went on. So that is what motivated me to look out for what's happened, the actual things, and so to come up with them. So those are some of the things that you find in the book.
Okay, then, so if anybody really wanted to reach out to you, get a copy of the book, how would they reach out? Well,
currently there are copies in the bookshop, Lancaster Museum bookshop in St. Louis.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay, Progressive Emporium.
Yes, Progressive Emporium.
Yeah. As well as if anybody, that's here in St. Louis, Progressive Emporium. And also everybody can YouTube it, as well as Afroworld.
And in D.C., you can also get a copy from the Sankofa bookshop.
Okay. And if anybody wanted to directly contact you, how would they get in contact with you?
Yeah, my contact is Blankson@gmail.com. And also can get me on my website, www.essel-blankson-tours.
And what is how would they call you? I know it has to be a WhatsApp app for those who
want to call,
who
particularly from the US. But if you want to call directly, you can call +233, including my number 2033833326.
Okay then. And on that note, about the possibility, dual citizenship is constantly offered by the government of Ghana to African Americans, right?
Yes.
And I guess other people of the world.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll deal with that on the other side of the break also, along with your book, though.
Sure.
So have you been enjoying yourself as you travel across this country?
Very well.
Okay, then. So and we appreciate you,
thank you,
being here. So on that note, I just want to again thank you for being here. We'll be doing part 2, as well as to the audience for every election. As I always say, make sure you know the issues, vote, join an organization that speaks truth to power. We say join the Universal African People's Organization. On that note, may God bless each and every one of you.